What's going on? It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And man, I'm excited. Hey, almost to summertime, that summertime grind, which also means almost back to fall season again, right? You know, spring sports are coming to an end. Baseball, close it out this weekend. May 22nd through 25th, got the SWAC baseball tournament. So that's going to be some exciting tournament baseball, right? Got a lot of teams in there that can get the job done. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and what the Panthers can do on this weekend, right? But today we're not talking about baseball. Today we're talking about, we got plenty of tweets. We got plenty of tweets with this one. Tonight we're gonna be talking about the official permanent SWAC head coach rankings, right? This is official, meaning it came down, right? Like it was handed down to me, right? I'm just presenting it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like the streets have been ablaze. All right. Hey, listen, all the votes have been cast and they are in. And this is the official SWAC head coach ranking. So listen, if you got an issue, with the rankings, you need to take it up with the SWAC office. All right. You know what I'm saying? Hit up SWAC commissioner. You know what I'm saying? Hit up Andrew. You know, hit them up. Let them know, like, hey, I got a problem with the rankings. Got a problem with the official rankings. But this is the official SWAC head coach rankings. All right. You know what I'm saying? Before we get into that, man, I just want everybody to know, hey, we've been a minute, been a while. Been gone, man. Hey, we have welcomed the bundle of joy into the home, and it's been awesome. All right, been definitely not getting as much sleep as previously. But man, beautiful baby girl is here, so super excited about that, man. A girl dad, right? So I'm elated. You know what I mean, for this bundle of joy that we got, man. 14 days old, 14 days young. You know what I mean. So that's what's been going on, right? That's why I've been slipping a little bit on, you know what I mean, getting these videos out. But I just want you guys to know, right, why, okay, why we kind of been slowed down a little bit, right? Appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, man, it's awesome, you know what I mean? Awesome learning experience every single day. It's like you learn more, you know, you appreciate so much, right? With that being said, too, I want to remind you, if you have not seen it yet, make sure you head over to PV versus everybody, right? First of all, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet, right? We're almost to 400 subscribers for the channel, right? So we've definitely been making that slow trek upward. And so I'm excited and happy for all of those who've been joining, who've been building with us from day one, right? Since last August up to now. But definitely subscribe to the channel and check out our last video that we were able to drop. We were able to actually get an exclusive tour of the full football stadium and all of the athletic facilities. So if you have not watched that video, make sure you go ahead head over to the channel, check that out after you get off this live, man, and share it. You know, let people know, let people see what we got access to here at PV Nation, right? Like I said, the best FCS stadium and facilities in the country, right? In the nation. And so make sure you share that out. Let others know about what we got going on over here, man. But let's without further ado, let's get into it, right? Because we released the official SWAC head coaching rankings earlier today, right? And again, if you got issue with it, you need to take it up with the SWAC commissioner. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Andrew and them. But listen, this was the official rankings that we dropped earlier today on this fine Sunday. All right. And as you, my viewer, as you see, and as you can witness with this 1 through 12 list, I know that you're saying to yourself, I don't see nothing wrong with the list. I know that's what you're saying. I know you're saying the same thing that I said when I got the list. Now listen, the SWAC does a lot of things that I think we can all agree don't make sense. I mean, SWAC does a lot of stuff that don't make sense. I think we all would agree on that. Whether it is preseason, whether it is postseason rankings, they do a lot of things that's just like, they don't make no sense, right? But in this case, with these head coaching rankings, I said, man, the SWAC did an awesome job with these head coaching rankings. Like, I don't know exactly who it was that voted on these rankings, but somebody had to be paying attention in class on this day. All right. And listen, that's what I'm saying. It looks very accurate to me. All right. And I'm with Jared. They finally got it right. Now they get a lot of stuff wrong. Preseason rankings wrong, postseason rankings wrong, leaving people outright, not giving people the due deserve that they should get based on the stats that they actually have. But that's for another segment on another day. Talked about that before. But in this 1 through 12, they got a spot on. So listen, let's run through the 1 through 12 real quick so you can see and understand where we're coming from. Listen, first and foremost, up top, we got Bubba McDowell listed at number 1. Hey, listen, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger here. All right. Number 2, Eddie Robinson Jr. All right. That man who first head coaching job at Alabama State, listed in the 2 spot. Then we got TC Taylor, all right, over there at Jackson State, slid in over into the head coaching role after Deion Sanders left. Then we keep going, right? We got Raymond Woody Jr., right, over at Bethune-Cookman. Mickey Joseph at Grambling State, who just came on after they let go of Hugh Jackson. Cedric Thomas. Now, this one got a lot of questions too, right? Cedric Thomas. Some felt that he was listed a little bit too low. I thought he was in a good spot. Number 7, Terrence Graves over at Southern. Obviously, he had the interim tag. They removed that interim tag. Now, they removed the interim tag after they tried to go out and get, somebody else. But listen, they removed that interim tag of Terrence Graves, right? Then we got James Colzie III, right? I mean, that was a big uproar for him to get this position. So he's definitely in a good position though, right? He's in a great position. But listen, he's in a position where he's going to be under a microscope. Then we got Alonzo Hampton over at UAPB, Kendrick Wade at Valley. Both of these coaches that's coming off their first year coaching in the SWAC. Number 11 was the one that got a lot of chatter. Connell Maynor. Now, what I heard from the little birdies, right, that came to me from the SWAC office was that Connell Maynor was in the 11th spot because these rankings are not based on what have you done for me in the CIAA conference. That's what I heard. I'm just telling you what I heard, right? It's not what have you done for me at Winston-Salem State University. That's what I heard. Now, I don't know if it's accurate or not. I'm just telling you what I heard, all right? They said the rankings was not based on what you did when you were in Division II or even what you did when you're in the MEAC. It was only based on what is your current status right now, based on us pulling all of the factors in where you rank in his head coaching list. And so, listen, they put Connell Maynor 11th. And I looked at it and I said, boy, that's spot on. That's probably where I would have had him too as well, okay? I probably would have had him number 11 too. And number 12, Chris Dishman, obviously is also his first year, right, in the conference as well. And I hope nobody feel any way about that, right? I think the SWAC was being fair when they put Chris Dishman there. It's not because he's another Oiler to a former Oiler or anything like that. It has nothing to do with him being a coach at TSU or anything, right? It's just literally, hey, man, the position he's in and what we got far as previous history from him, yeah, we don't really got much to go on, right? So it's all just basically up in the air, all right? It's just up in the air. So with that being said, man, let's talk a little bit about why it makes sense for this to be the SWAC head coach rankings. And listen, if you feel like, you know what, I think the SWAC could have did a better job. I'm gonna just drop the link. Listen, you ain't got to come on video. You can come on up in audio and just share your thoughts, right? But if you say, man, I think the SWAC could have tweaked this just a little bit. Now, if you coming up here and saying that Connell Maynor should be like top 4, top 6, or something like that, that's a little bit too much movement. All right, that's a lot of movement right there. Okay, but maybe you're talking about tweaking just a little bit, right? Maybe you say Cedric Thomas should be number 5 or number 4. Okay, right? We can have that conversation. But if you're coming with something that's just completely out the blue, all right, listen, let's just calm down. All right, but let's start out first. Let's go from 12. Let's go from 12 down. Obviously, again, we talk about Chris Dishman. He's coming in. Hey, listen, it's his first year. Really have not much to go off of. Obviously, his latest jobs was D coordinator with the New Jersey Generals, the Vegas Vipers of the former XFL. Hey, listen, I love the XFL, all the uniforms, all the teams. I wish all of them could have moved over, right? Hey, defense coordinator of those 2 teams. I mean, outside of that, he had a stint at Baylor a while back in the mid-20 teens as defensive back coach. But outside of that, really not a lot of college experience, right? So it's really not a lot you can go off of, with this hire. I definitely think Texas Southern was really reaching when they hired Chris Dishman. Obviously, if we revisit what happened back at the turn of this year, 2023 to 2024, we remember all of the up and down and in and out of that head coaching hire. Listen, Andre Johnson, some people wanted Andre Johnson. We all know that Fred McNair had his hat in the ring, and that's where most people thought he was going and probably was going to be in stone. And so after that big hullabaloo, Chris Dishman came out, right? So listen, at the end of the day, it's nothing against Chris Dishman, obviously, but it's just he has nothing to show in college. Obviously, in the SWAC hasn't done anything yet. And it's nothing really that pops off as far as even in his coaching experience throughout the years, right? I mean, obviously dope that he has a lot of connections, obviously being able to connect with XFL, being able to connect USFL. Obviously, he was at IMG Academy as well. So that's a big connection, high school ranks. But at the end of the day, just ain't done nothing to really put his name up there as far as he should be higher than this. So that's why Chris Dishman is number 12. And really him, I'll also say with Kendrick Wade, also with Alonzo Hampton, they're kind of like all in a similar boat. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they have a year of experience under their belt. So for me, it makes sense that they would be ranked higher based off that experience that they've had after that 1 year, right? At the end of the day, having coaching experience is big. Now, the arrow you see here, right, is based on, well, where's the program in this point in time, even based on this hire, et cetera. And I think TSU is taking a step back with this hire, right? I think right now, and you see what's going on around the program. Good thing they've had a couple, obviously big key pieces to leave out on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side of the ball, right? Still able to bring back some of that linebacker core though, which is going to be really good. But at the end of the day, they're really in flux, and he's really just trying to hold things together, this year and really start to build the program and build it in the way that he wants to build it. So for me, I'm looking at, hey man, they're on a downward trend. Hopefully they can catch themselves before they go. And TSU was already down. This is be real. TSU was already down. Okay. But they're now really going on a downward trend. And question is, right, when is he going to be able to hit rock bottom, right, and start bounce back up? So at the end of the day, that's just what it is right now. It says 3 former coaches. Yeah, definitely. With him, Eddie Robinson and Bubba, 3 former coaches. Yes. And the other thing is this. That's the other thing that in my mind was considered as well, right? You're talking about resources. What resources do you have available to you based on where you are as well? And so, TSU is not one of them places or programs I think that he has no resources available, obviously. But at the end of the day, again, he just don't have no experience right now. So let's keep it moving. Number 11. Now, this is the biggest one, right? This is one that got the biggest reaction and response. But listen, Overall record for Connell Maynor, 99-57. He is the longest tenured coach from a head coaching standpoint out of all the coaches on the list. So first and foremost, I give you that. I understand, right? Great at Winston-Salem State. He was great at Winston-Salem. He was mid at Hampton, right? He was just okay at Hampton. And at Alabama A&M, he's just been okay. Now, I know the big thing is based on what happened in the spring of 2021. That's what everybody's marbles is laid on, the fact that in 2021, Connell Maynor helped Alabama A&M to win the spring SWAC COVID championship. All right. So since I know y'all love COVID championships, I made sure I got a picture of Connell Maynor with his mask on. All right. Got his mask on, right? Got the security right behind him. So you make sure you stay 6 feet in distance away from him as well. So we all understand, because I know y'all like COVID championships. This is the COVID championship. All right. This is what it is, right? And I asked, listen, I was like, you know what? I want to ask Coach Maynor what he thinks about the championship, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, hey, I have a thought process. I have an opinion, but listen, it's best to hear it straight from his mouth. So I asked him, what you think about it? And that's all he said. He didn't say nothing else. That's all he said. I mean, I was hoping he would give me more. But that's all he said. I'm like, Coach, man, I mean, you don't have anything to say. I know it's 2024 now. That was a couple years back. You have anything to say about that COVID championship? You say that's it. That's all he gave me. All right. The only other thing I could get out of him was he said, listen, I'm paid to only win SWAC games. It's the only other thing he said to me. He just barked and he said, I'm only paid to win SWAC games. So, I mean, I don't know what to do with that. But listen, based off all of that, I say, you know what? The SWAC got it right. All right, listen, the SWAC got it right. Listen, since that COVID championship, that's why he got the mask on. I mean, I kind of feel like I shouldn't even talk to y'all without my mask on right now, because we're talking about COVID, and I'm just feeling like I don't even want it to come through the camera right now. You know what I'm saying? Since we talking about COVID championships, since we talking about what was done in the spring and who canceled games, who played games, what players were able to play, what players got sick. I mean, since we talking about y'all winning the I didn't get sick championship, I mean, that's basically what it is. Y'all didn't get sick, other teams got sick. Okay, it is what it is, right? I'm not trying to degrade the championship. I'm just trying to add context to it. The context is I've never said Alabama A&M didn't win a championship. I just said they won a COVID championship. That's why we got the mask on, all right? But since that championship, right, and it's supposed to be 2021, listen, Jimmy said he might move him up to 7th. Now, that's really far. That's 4 spaces, right? Now, before you move him up 4 spaces, let's ask ourselves, well, he said he's only paid to win SWAC games. Well, what has he done since that I haven't got sick championship? Since the I haven't got sick championship, how many games has he won? Well, he is 12-16 since the I haven't got sick championship. Since the mask wearing SWAC championship, he is 12-12 in the SWAC. I mean, that's mid. That's the definition of average. That is average. 12-12 is literally mediocre. That's literally average. Now, I would think that people would say, you know what? I'm happy that he's ranked so low, because we really need to get another coach who's going to come in and revitalize this program. But listen, I mean, I don't think that A.D. Bryant thinks like some of his constituents, because I think A.D. Bryant is also thinking and saying, at the end of the day, Connell Maynor has been mediocre. He's been very mid since the I ain't got sick and you got sick championship. So I think A.D. Bryant is thinking about the next move. You know what I'm saying? He's an AD who just brought in Don Thornton. So I'm sure he's thinking about the move. Hopefully the constituents will get behind him and let this thing go. This almost feel like a bad relationship. It's almost feel like somebody who's abused you, but at one time they gave you flowers or something, and you keep going back and forth. Like, listen, y'all need to let that go. Y'all need to let that I ain't got sick, but y'all got sick championship go. Okay? Listen, I'm just saying. Now, I'm going to give him his flowers, though. I'm going to give him his flowers, okay? because he did win. He did win a championship. And I was thinking, I said, you know what? I don't want to degrade his championship because listen, like I love LeBron and I always talk about what LeBron has been able to do. And I said, listen, I'm going to give him his flowers just like I give LeBron his flowers. And so I say, you know what? This is exactly what this championship is like. This is exactly what the championship is. It's an in-season tournament championship. But all I'm trying to say is you are not going to tell me and compare this in-season tournament to the team that makes it out of the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference and plays in June. You're not going to compare the two things. I know you're not, because it's just not the same, right? It's a championship. You will print a banner out, you will put it up, you will get a trophy. Okay, the trophy is already made. You can take it back to your school, put it in the closet. But all I'm trying to say is we're not going to compare the in-season tournament to the finals in June. It's just not the same. It's not the same. So listen, this is the equivalency. This is the equivalency. All right. This is not degrading because the Lakers won the in-season tournament. That's what they won. They won the in-season tournament. But the in-season tournament is not the same as going through a full season and getting it in 7 games after 7 games and winning in June. That's all I'm saying. So when Connell Maynor gets his record from mid, right? When he finishes higher than 4th, then I will reconsider, and I will petition the SWAC and say, hey man, SWAC, I really think y'all need to move Connell Maynor up from 4th place. Y'all need to move him up from the 4th position and put him maybe slightly above Alonzo Hampton. Maybe, right? Maybe. But until then, listen, everything in sports is about what have you done for me lately? Lately. Lately. What have you done for me lately? And lately, he has not done anything in the SWAC. That's just the reality, right? Great job at Winston-Salem State. Awesome, right? Hey, listen, got his guys ready to play, and they played in the spring. They won the games that was in front of them. They won the championship in the spring. I'm not taking anything away from that. But at the end of the day, the last 3 years, he's done nothing. That's the reality. He's done nothing. Nothing at all to say that he is one of the best coaches in the SWAC. That's just what it is, right? So with that being said, when Connell Maynor finishes ahead of 4th, then we'll move him higher than 11th. All right. So let's keep it going. Right. So ahead of him. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention. Right. So again, right, we're talking about the programs, what a program is right now. The program is on a downward trend. Right. That's why we see the downward red arrow. It's on the downward trend. All right. At the end of the day, he said his SWAC championship is worth 3 more years. Okay. Hey, listen, if Alabama A&M wants to sit, if they want to sit in 4th place in the SWAC for the next 3 years, then just stick to what you're doing, because he hasn't done anything to show that he's going to be able to elevate them above that spot. That's just the reality. He hasn't done anything and shown anything on the field over the last 3 years to show that I can get this team above the 4th spot, which is why he's behind. He's behind all of these other coaches in the East, because how can he go in front of any of those coaches when he hasn't been able to beat them? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So anyway, like I said, at the end of the day, once he does something and helps them finish past 4th, then we can move on to that, right? You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's not what has he done on the field? What has he done on the field in the last 3 years in terms of SWAC wins, right? Great players play at horrible schools all the time. Great players play at horrible schools all the time. And this is not Alabama A&M. I don't consider Alabama A&M a horrible school. But great players play at bad programs all the time. So just because a player has gone off to the XFL, or players have gone out and gone to a higher program, right? i.e. going off and heading to Houston, staying in Houston, right? That's great. Those are good. That's great for those players. It's good that people have an eye to go get those players. But what has that done on the field? You've had those players in your program, and yet you can't finish above fourth place. Yeah, it's always been on the field. What has he done? It's always been on the field. What are you talking about? It's always been on the field. I've never said anything about how many of these coaches have put players in the XFL. How many of these coaches have put people in NFL? You're creating a straw man argument right now and creating your own narrative that I have no idea where you get it from, right? I've never said anything about off the field XFL. Never said anything about Maynor's good in the community. Oh, he's a great man, right? He's a good coach. He has a great personality, right? He has an awesome personality from what I can tell and what I see. That doesn't make him rank higher in my head coach rankings, because the head coach rankings is about coaching your team. It's about coaching your team, not your individual players to go to the XFL, not your individual players to get chances to go play in the NFL or to play in NFL Europe or whatever they want to play. It's about what you have done on the field, and he's done nothing. He's done nothing to make me put him higher than where he's placed, right? So once he does something to help Alabama A&M, yeah, no, I'm not switching. I'm staying the same. I know at the end of the day, you can't tell me anything he's going to do to help you get out of the fourth slot. Tell me what he's going to do to help you to finish above Jackson State, to finish above Florida A&M, to finish above Alabama State. What is he going to do to help you do that? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Yeah, what is they going to do? Are he going to call all of them? He going to call the XFL and those players that bounced and went to the NFL, he going to call them back to A&M and have them play? Like they still got playing time left? Because they was on the team apparently at one time. They ain't helped them get out of the fourth slot though. He's 12-12. He's 12-12 over the last 3 years in the SWAC. He's mediocre, and his expectations are higher. That's why he's ranked so low. He's ranked so low because his expectations are that he would be at a better place in a better position than he's in, and he hasn't met those expectations. He's failed to meet those expectations. That's why he's so low. Yeah, exactly. That's what, yes, you can name three things. So one could be for one switch, one could be for the other switch, and one could be for the third switch. But the reality is you have nothing to show for what Maynor is going to do in the field. As a matter of fact, you already know that y'all not going to finish higher than fourth. That's the reality. You already know they're not going to finish higher than fourth, right? That's the reality, right? And this is, for all those out there watching, this is the reason why Connell Maynor is put in the 11th slot. Because nobody can tell me anything. None of y'all have any hope that Maynor is even going to do anything. All y'all know, he's probably not going to be the head coach of Alabama A&M at the end of the year. That's facts. All of y'all know he's not finishing higher than fourth. Y'all are hoping that he beats Bethune-Cookman and finishes fourth. Because most of y'all believe that Bethune-Cookman going to beat Alabama A&M. First of all, I've seen most of y'all go through y'all schedule rankings, and a lot of y'all chose Bethune-Cookman to beat Alabama A&M. So what does that say about Coach Maynor? What does that tell us about him on the field in the fall, what he's doing with the headset on? And at the end of the day, he ain't done enough. But somebody that I have hope for is Kendrick Wade, right? Kendrick Wade, 1-10 overall, 1-7 in the SWAC, right? You know what I'm saying? He's a Valley alum. Again, not much to show for, right? Was at Delta State before this, came over, right? And now leading his alma mater. He played wide receiver back at Valley, right? And so, again, right, it's going to be interesting to see in his second year now, right? He's been able to have a year under his belt. Same thing with Alonzo Hampton. The biggest thing for him and Hampton, I think, at the end of the day, is going to be, man, who they get to place around them. Because Kendrick Wade has to bring in assistant coaches who's going to be able to develop players at the end of the day. Valley is not going to be able to go the route of some other programs and go in. I'm going to just go in the portal and just bring guys out the portal. That's not the route they're going to be able to go if they're going to really actually try to compete in the SWAC, compete in the East. They're going to have to get players and develop players. And so Coach Wade is going to have to find people to bring along with him, himself and others, to bring along and say, hey, who can I bring into this program as assistant coaches that's going to help me develop players, right? Can I get players to come here for 2, 3, 4 years, right? Because that's the model I think him and Alonzo Hampton is going to have to take. They're gonna have to say, listen, we're gonna build programs to be good for 2 years every 3 to 4 years. That's what you have to do, especially at Valley. I think that's what you're gonna have to do, right? Alonzo Hampton, obviously overall 2-9, 1-7 SWAC record. He was a assistant head coach at Louisiana Monroe, ULM, and he's a native of Arkansas, right? Of course, he bounced around some other schools as well. So he's coming in with a little bit more coaching experience than Kendrick Wade. It's going to be interesting to see what he does this year. Obviously, the number one thing is going to be what's going to happen at QB for UAPB. I think, man, this will be a great place for somebody like Julian Chavez to go, man. If he goes to UAPB, I think that'll be a great move. I know that Burke also just went over there, the receiver, the receiver from FAM. So I think, man, Chavez going over there, that'll be a good spot for him. Obviously, his old offensive coordinators there as well. So I think that's a big move for Hampton to be able to bring in an OC who has some experience and who called games pretty well, right? And so I think that's a good move, a good trend. So I just have Valley and I have UAPB kind of just in the same vein, right? They haven't done anything that shows that the program is regressing. Obviously, I mean, Valley is already at the bottom, right? UAPB is trying to build back. So they haven't done anything that shows that it regress, but I don't know if they've done anything. They've done enough to say, man, I see that this program is on a trend upward per se either. But I think this year is going to show what they can do. I think UAPB can start to move in that direction. I think they're in a great position too, right? Being in Arkansas, because they can have their tentacles in multiple different directions. Tennessee, the Mississippis, Louisiana, right? Of course, Arkansas. And so again, if they take that model with the better resources that they have at UAPB than what's at Valley, then I think that they have a better chance, right? We've seen UAPB have good teams since the 2000s, right? We've seen them pop up and win a SWAC championship here and there, right? Play for a SWAC championship. So UAPB has the ability to do it. It's just gonna depend on, do they have the coach, right? And do they give that coach the time in order to build that program back up? And again, I think this is one of the programs that you got to build for time, right? 3 to 4 years is what you're looking for, right? Bringing people in, keep them, develop them, right? And get them up and get them out of there. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's see. All right, so James Colzie III. James Colzie III, right? He is obviously 0-0 overall record, 0-0 SWAC record, right? He was a Florida A&M defensive back and also assistant head coach before he popped over here. When you look at his history, some good things, obviously not just being a part of that FAMU program, but also coaching in Florida, coaching in Georgia, coaching in Arkansas. And then also he had a stint up in Canada as well. I mean, listen, those are the pockets, those are the areas that you want to have your tentacle in if you're trying to continue to keep FAMU afloat and keep them building and keep them strong, right? At the end of the day. And that's one thing to me that I think he's done. Now, I think at the end of the day, when you lose some of the players that FAMU has lost, it's hard, right? So I think when I say that downward trend, I'm not saying downward trend that now, FAM is UAPB or something, right? But I think they obviously are going to take a step back. That's just the reality, right? Not just losing players, but losing coaches, right? Losing the architect of the defense, losing Simmons, who obviously is the play caller. So you got guys who are going to be stepping into new roles at FAMU, not just at the head coaching spot, but also some of his assistant coaches, right? Are going to be stepping in and new in that position too. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle, situational football, et cetera, right? Because again, Willie Simmons have been doing it for a while, right? He had a handle on things, saying you had your DC who have been there, who had built that defense up to be one of the top defenses in FCS. And so at the end of the day, they're going to take a step back, just the reality, right? And so when you bring in guys and bring in transfers, at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to translate. That's just the reality, right? You hope, because, hey, you got 3 stars, you got some 4 stars coming in. You hope this translate, but it's not a guarantee that these things translate to the field. You want the stars to translate. That's why you go after the stars, right? You see the stars, they shining, but you want it to translate to the field. The reality is some of the guys that translate. I mean, some of the guys that transfer in, hey, if you look at what they've done in other places, I mean, they didn't make a lot of noise other places. There are some guys that you bring in, you say, hey man, look, hey, they played a lot of great football where they're coming from, didn't necessarily get the time that maybe could have been allotted to them. And so those are guys that you can bring in and say, hey man, we're going to be able to lean on you a little more, right? And so the good thing that FAM does though is they do bring in guys that have previous experience. Like the majority of the guys, a good amount of the guys they bring in have previous experience, and so that helps them to stay afloat. Yeah, I think Coach Henry would be straight, but listen, Coach Henry and Coach Simmons, that's a step back at the end of the day, right? That's a step back at OC, all right? If you're talking about Ryan not being there, that's a step back at DC at the end of the day, right? So Colzie, first time as head coach in this position, is a step back over Simmons, who you had in that position, who have gone through years of being in multiple programs, right? It's a step back, right? In all of these different places. So at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that they've fallen off and they're dropping all the way to the bottom of the East, right? But it does mean that they'll take a step back. They take enough of a step back that give Jackson and they give Alabama State a chance to say, hey, I'm trying to vie for the East championship this year and playing the SWAC championship. And that's all it needs to do, right? They don't need to, FAM doesn't need to take a big step back for Jackson, for Alabama State to have a chance. All right, we back. We back. Let me get the slides back up. All right. Terrence Graves. Let's keep it going. Terrence Graves, right? So the biggest thing is Terrence Graves, and take it for somebody who now is in this position. It's different when you're the aunt or the uncle. Understand what I'm saying? Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about right now. It's different when you're the aunt or the uncle. Meaning, hey, got your niece, got your nephew, play with them a little bit, may even change some diapers here and there, feed them, right? Rock them when they're crying. But it's different when all of the responsibility is on you. When every single piece of the responsibility is on your shoulders, it's a little bit, right? It's a little bit different when everything is on you, right? And so that's the thing with Terrence Grace, right? Now he's in a position where he's not just an intern for a day, right? Not just an intern for a week, but now he is the actual head coach at Southern. And I think when I say looking at where Southern is, I mean, obviously the situation with Dooley and kind of how it has caused the regret. Just from a player standpoint, obviously being late to be able to get his whole crew together, get his staff together, and Southern not really being as active, right? In the off season as I know that they would want to be, right, from high school signings as well as transfer. And so at the end of the day, man, when you late in the portal, you really take a lot of chances, a lot of shots. So that's the only thing with Terrence Graves is going to be just the fact of them being really late as far as getting some of those things going. But what I will say is though, I think Terrence Graves, when you talk about running a college program, it's a lot about management. You know what I'm saying? And I think obviously Terrence Graves wasn't Southern's first. That wasn't their first choice. That's why he ended up getting hired when he I think we all know by now that that wasn't Southern's first choice. But I still think that Terrence Graves, this is why I have him a little higher on my list because, when I look at not just kind of what he's done, obviously having those opportunities in the roles, but I think when you talk about somebody that knows Terrence Graves has been around the SWAC, obviously at Grambling for a long time, at Southern earlier, for a stint, in his career as well. I think you talk about somebody who's been around programs that long. What they learn how to do is manage programs. That's one thing that's hard for people who come in. That's why, hey man, you gotta tip your hat to Eddie Robb and people like that. But that's the thing that, for example, a Chris Ditchman, that's like, hey, how do you manage this, right? Because this is not XFL. This is not, dealing with high school even. This is a completely different world, a completely different field. You talk about colleges, and now you throw the transfer portal on top of it. So when I think about Terrence Graves, I think Terrence Graves is going to be better than I think a lot of people right now do, just from the standpoint of him being able to be around programs, be able to soak up knowledge, be able to have opportunity to rub shoulders with so many people through the industry, see the influx in and out through multiple programs, especially on the SWAC level. I think it places him in a better position that when he's starting, he's starting from a place of better knowledge than the majority of people will be starting from. So I think he's gonna do a little bit better than most people think he's gonna do. But now I will say the real question is gonna be how does Southern handle him, right? How does the fan base handle him? Because again, I think Southern, Grambling, right? These are programs now that's like they're gonna take a couple of years for them to get to where they want to get to. So you're gonna have to let people build. Listen, you don't cook food and just if you want to just throw stuff in the microwave, it ain't gonna always taste as good as when you kind of let something simmer, right? So it's the same thing we talk about Hugh Jackson over at Graham. Same thing we talk about now Mickey Joseph there. You talk about Terrence Graves here. Are you gonna let them simmer, or are you gonna like snatch the food off the stove and be mad? You gotta kind of let it simmer a little bit. So it depends. Now, hey, if they don't let it simmer, listen, I don't care. At the end of the day, that doesn't mean he's better for us. But I think Graves can do well in this position if he's actually given a chance to lead, right? He's actually given a chance to manage the program in a way he wants to manage it based on what he's been able to gather throughout the years. I think he'll do well, right? And so that's why I got Terrence Graves listed at number 7. And so we're halfway through. We got 6 more. We're gonna run through these. I'm gonna drop this link again, man. If anybody wants to jump on, share your thoughts real quick before we get about you, and you can do that. Okay. Cedric Thomas. Now, overall record 13-18. That includes 2 years at UAPB and also 1 year at Mississippi Delta Community, right? Mississippi Delta, he was 5-4, 3-3 in conference. Had a winning record there. And then at UAPB, right, the SWAC record was 4-10, right? So not a great record at UAPB. Again, UAPB, like I said, right, is one of those programs that it just takes time with. So I don't think 2 years at UAPB necessarily means that Cedric Thomas can't do well as a head coach. I don't think that's what that means because what's factored in a lot of this also is the program itself, right? I can't judge Fam Colzie at FAMU the same way that I judge Kendrick Wade at Mississippi Valley. That just wouldn't make sense, right? UAPB, I can't judge Alonzo Hampton in the same exact manner as the way I would judge Cedric Thomas overall. I just can't judge it the same, right? I can't look at it the same. So that is also factored into this whole equation as well. So when I look at Cedric Thomas, right, obviously he's well as DC at Alcorn, has that defense playing well. Obviously has a guy who probably is going to be high up as far as getting a nod for the defensive player of the year rankings. So he definitely knows what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. But again, it is a difference when you move from an offensive coordinator role, defensive coordinator role, to a head coaching position. Good thing about Cedric Thomas is he had an opportunity to kind of know what that feels like, what it looks like when he was at UAPB. So some of the lessons that I'm sure he gathered there, he's going to look to now implement that here at Alcorn. Obviously, I think the program I think it's moving up even from where it was um, with Fred McNair. Now, I mean, there obviously did a lot over the years. Again, I'm looking at where was the program Fred left, and now where is it trending right now, May 2024. I think there's excitement obviously around the program led by Said, right? You know what I'm saying? Gas and all that stuff. So I think he got guys ready to play for him, interested in coming out right and really playing for him across the front of that jersey. So I'm interested to see what Cedric Thomas does. I think he's going to do well as well. The question really for him is going to be, I know they brought the new OC in. Again, is he going to be able to find somebody that can match him on the opposite side of the ball? That's going to be the thing. So the thing that Willie Simmons was finally able to do at FAMU was finding somebody that would be a DC and have a DC that can match him as an OC, right? And I think that's what Cedric Thomas is looking to be able to replicate. If he can replicate that, at the end of the day, if it's just easy, then we all be doing it, right? We all would already have the best DC, best OC. That's just the reality. It ain't that easy. But if he can find that, Alton would definitely be a dangerous, you know what I mean, dangerous spot. But I have him in sixth spot for that, right? I think he has a lot of upside. I think G did a great job of arguing different points regarding Cedric Thomas. So Cedric Thomas is definitely a guy I could see that if the SWAC was to revisit this rankings, which they're not. The rankings are set in stone. But if they were going to revisit this ranking, we could see Cedric Thomas maybe moving up to the fifth or maybe fourth spot, right? I can see that. I can't see him above the top three in this ranking. Maybe in that range, I could definitely see that, right? Because I think he did a good job of arguing his points. He did a way better job than everybody was arguing about the COVID championship. He did a way better job than everybody arguing. Okay, so let's keep it going. Now, Mickey Joseph. Now, I just gave that program just I think they lost a lot definitely out of the portal after Jackson left, but I don't think they I don't think they've gotten better, but I don't think they've necessarily gotten worse. I think they're kind of just the same vein, right? So that's why he's black nine there, right? Overall record 16-13 as a interim head coach and head coach over at Langston. He was a Nebraska interim head coach before he came over to Grambling, and he also was an LSU assistant coach for 2 years, which again I think is going to bode well. Now, obviously, recruiting people at LSU is different from recruiting people at Grambling, but that means that again, he knows the lay of the land. He's recruited uh, in Louisiana. He's recruited down here in Arkansas, Texas, and Mississippi. So he understands what it takes to really get into these homes in Louisiana, right? I know he already has a lot of connections because of that, right? So that's going to help him to, you're just talking about helping the learning curve as you coming in, right? And obviously, that previous experience that he's got is going to be big. Did very well at Langston, right? Having winning records both years. One year he won the conference as well. In that conference there in the name of the conference, right? So again, he's coming from a program where he's able to be a head coach and actually led them to win a record. That means a lot, right? At the end of the day, when you talk about people building up, you look at people and say, man, what did they do at the DC? You know what I'm saying? What did they do as an OC or as a DC? What did they do as a head coach in the FCS? And for those who got high aspirations, okay, what did they do as an assistant at the FBS level or as a head coach at the lower level? That's what you look for, right? So if you can't win at the level you're on, it doesn't really bode well for you at the next level. So when I look at Mickey Joseph, I say, okay, he has done well, right? At multiple programs, multiple spots. He has recruited some great guys, right? Again, even though he's working with bigger programs, end of the day, he was at those programs and able to get guys in. So now he's trying to turn that into coming into Grambling. He's done a great job right now getting guys in at Grambling on the deep line. Again, it's the same thing I say for FAMU, right? Got a lot of guys coming in, 3-star, 4-star guys. A lot of those guys don't have the production at their former schools, I would say, though. Maybe one here or there. So those are a lot of project guys. At the end of the day, some project guys could turn out to be exact guys you need for this year to plug those holes, the exact guys who will be great SWAC players. So stars to me show that, hey, there's potential. Doesn't mean it's going to turn out well, but there's potential. Different from guys who actually played and actually produce wherever they are, whether they have a star or not, right? But again, that just means potential. So if those guys have potential 2 years or 3 years ago, that potential could still be there that, hey, with the right system, with the right coaches and the right environment, that they could actually be productive, if not very productive players for you. And so again, I don't think Grambling is, trending downward. I definitely don't think upward. I just think they're kinda in the middle. But I think Mickey Joseph was a good hire for Grambling. Even though I still believe that Hugh Jackson was I think if you gave Hugh Jackson another 2 years, Grambling would still be good. I didn't see the need to fire Jackson, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I think Hugh Jackson was moving upward, right? Now that loss, value championship is probably what did it for him at the end of the day, but he was bringing in players, right? He was getting guys transferred in, so I think he was really building something. One thing that is gonna be interesting with Grambling, right, is they lost all of those O-linemen, right, who went to multiple FBS schools. Now, whether they're gonna be actual guys on the field or they're just gonna be step pieces, I don't know, but all I know is, man, all those guys are gone. Right? And so those guys that you had there for 1 year, 2 year, those sophomores who are now about to turn juniors, who play with each other for now going on the 3rd year, you gotta scrap them, you gotta start over. So that's something that's a big loss. End of the day, trenches, all about the trenches, right? The D-line, the O-line. So that's a big loss for Grambling. So they're right in the middle to me. But I think Mickey Joseph is a pretty good I think Mickey Joseph is a good hire. Raymond, now, I know that most people think this guy is higher. Yeah, well, I mean, he had a 2-year contract in his day. Contract, you could go down. And the other thing with Hugh Jackson, right, is some resources. He did bring some resources into Columbus, so that can't be forgotten. You know what I mean? Anyway, on to Raymond Woody Jr. All right. Listen, now this was probably one that majority of people would say he's too high, but I liked what I saw from the team on the field itself, right? Again, Bethune Cookman has the ability to be a championship level program. Bethune Cookman has the ability to survive and be competitive every year. We've seen what Bethune has been in years in the past, even in MEAC, right? Even though it didn't turn out to as many MEAC championships as obviously they would want, this team, I mean, that school has been very competitive from a football standpoint many years, right? So Cookman has that ability. So what I'm liking what I'm seeing with Coach Woody is one, his ability to get his players to just get down in the trenches and play. I mean, you got to think of where that program was after Ed Reed got there, after that whole debacle, and to see how he got in to be under that microscope, stabilize that program, right? And now starting to build from there. You see here the first full time he's had an opportunity to go out on a recruiting tour and bring guys in, not just through the transfer portal, but also through the high school ranks. And he's done a great job. Can't forget, he's been an assistant coach, right? At South Florida, at Florida State, at Oregon, right? He's been around some winning programs, some programs that have done well in Power Five and in the Power Five level, right? So again, right, this is somebody who, just like a Mickey Joseph, has touched a lot of, as his tentacles touched a lot of places, right? Able to bring in a lot of different knowledge. And so I'm excited what I'm seeing at Bethune Cookman, right? I'm excited to see what they can continue to keep building. And so I think based off the fact of what I see from here, from him with his players on the field, not because of the talent they got. This is definitely more about how he has galvanized the talent he has versus the talent that he actually had last year, right? But I think this year is definitely gonna be a lot more, a better opportunity to really look and see, okay, what can you actually do, right? Do we see Bethune-Cookman kinda stay in that same position they're in, or do we see them take a step forward? I really think they're gonna take a step forward this year. I don't think that ends up being a winning record, but I think they can definitely be 5 and 7, right? I mean, at the height, possibly like a 6 and 6, I think they can get there, right? Because I believe they're gonna knock out somebody will say, "Man, I didn't see them winning this game," right? So, I definitely think BCU will be better this year, right? And again, right, with that, listen, I gotta give him his Raymond Woody right now is almost like Eddie Robinson in his year. That's kind of what Raymond Woody is. Eddie Robinson year one, everybody still was looking like, man, E-Rob is not he's not that guy, right? They still was kind of questioning if he could get the job done, if he could be a guy who could really turn the program around or get Alabama State where they want to go. I think now, today, you would say, okay, the only question they have with E-Rob is, okay, can he really figure out from the offensive standpoint, like, on the offensive side of the ball, right? But I think the questions of kind of him as a head coach running the program, I think they're kind of dwindled away. To me, Raymond Woody is E-Rob after year one. Right? That's how I see Raymond Woody Jr. So it's gonna be interesting to see this year what he does, how he's able to build off of this momentum, right? Especially off of this momentum in the portal. And again, I said before, fam, etc. At the end of the day, right? Stars just mean there's potential there. That's what that means. It's potential. But it doesn't mean that every single guy that they brought in who had stars by the name, who had stars by the name, I should say, previously, are guys who produce where they're coming from. So that's not the case. But right when you see him bringing in guys who have more talented than what they already had on the roster, and he brought them in a pretty big way, right? I think that means that he's going to be working. Listen, we talked about cooking earlier. You can cook a lot better when you have a little bit more ingredients to, right? A little bit more to choose from. Have it a little bit wider, all right? You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening right now with Bethune-Cookman. It's like he's stocking the shelves, and now he's about to get a chance to fall to say, okay, what is going to be my name this year? So I'm really excited about Raymond Woody. I know people will think this is a little bit high, but I really just from a standpoint of him coaching right and him really program, like really starting to just yank this program in the opposite direction after they would just, this program could have literally crashed depending on who they would put in a head coach position. And when many of us saw them name him, it was kind of like, but I think he has really yanked that program and starting to make that U-turn right now. So Raymond Woody, he's in my third spot. Now, let's see, fam, Bethune Cookman, Graham, and Joshua are in the transfer. Yeah, they always in the transfer, portal, right? And hey, transfer portal gives and takes away. That's what it does. So TC Taylor, listen, I didn't know program wise whether I would say that they're kind of at the same spot or they're on a trend upward. Right? They're definitely not a trend downward. And I think obviously that's also based on the fact that FAMU, I believe, is going to take a step back this year, right? So I definitely don't. I think TC Taylor has helped mend this ship. All the things that happened with Dion when he left and what was going to be with the program, TC now has put his stamp on this program and kind of put his hands under it, and now he's holding it up and he's looking to move forward. Again, 7-4 overall, 5-3 spot record last year. He was Jackson State's OC and also OC at North Carolina Central as well. Right? Another program you look at and say, okay, this program has definitely learned how to win throughout the years. And obviously, he's a Jackson alum too as well. So I think TC Taylor, I got him in the third slot. I wouldn't be mad if somebody had him in any of these slots up top because I think TC Taylor's done a great job. The only thing that I would say though why I don't have him higher because at the end of the day he didn't win the division, right? And he didn't finish second in the division. They finished third behind Alabama State, lost that game to Alabama State, right? Lost that, you know what I'm saying? So I just think that's the reason why I have him in the third slot as opposed to higher. But again, man, I think Taylor is a great hire for Jackson. He is the right guy for this time to help stabilize the ship. Obviously, somebody who knows right the lay of the land because he's been through that. Right? He had a history of Jackson. And he's the guy that knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball, right? And I think even bringing in the old alum, right, Javancy Jones, right, making some moves like that is good again to stabilize the program. Jackson still has that mystique, right? That aura is still kind of there, right? Off of Dion leaving, right? So they still have the ability to go in the portal and get some guys to Jackson that maybe they wouldn't have had the ability to get a few years ago or before Dion. So again, right, they're still able to go out right and bring guys in. It's just making sure that these guys fit the program and fit the bill of what they're looking for. And again, right, how it turns out on the field. So I'm excited to see Jackson this year. I got Jackson in my too early like championship game. I got Jackson winning the East, right? You know what I'm saying? Just personally, know what I mean? But I got TC Turtle in the third spot, man. And Will Jimmy said he got him trending up. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that, right? I think they the order they're kind of right there. But regardless, I think Fam takes at least one step back. All he needs is to take one step back. Fam, Jackson, and Bama State aren't that far apart that if any of them take a step back, a step forward, it's not gonna cause major shifts, right? Because all those programs I think are right with each other. Now, Eddie Robinson, right? This is a guy again, 13-9 overall record, 9-7 in the SWAC, second in the East in 2023. And only listen, both, both of my issue with both of my top two people, right? With him and with my number one is both of them have issues out of conference, and I got an issue with having issues out of conference. Okay, that's my issue, right? Can't lose out of conference to a D2 school. Can't lose to an FCS program putting up 0 points. That is unacceptable. All right. So both of them, I still got issues with both of them. But we talk about SWAC head coaches, right? Talk about in the SWAC. Okay. Eddie Robinson coming in and again, right, putting Alabama State in the position that they want to be in, right? This is the guy who came and stood up and said, "Hey, listen, is he SWAC? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm SWAC, right? This is the guy who came, stood up, right? Said it with his chest. All right, willing to play games on homecoming. Most people say we ain't playing homecoming. So being able to go into Jackson, win that game in Jackson, solidify them being the number two seed. I mean, the Spinners is second in the East, right? That's progression, right? It's third this first year, and it's second this last year. Obviously, the goal is to go to the number one spot this year. And do they have the ability to do it? I think they do. I mean, I think all these teams are right here neck and neck. A turnover here or there, right, to decide games in the fall, I believe. But at the end of the day, I think Alabama State's defense is going to take also a step back because again, man, you can't lose all conference players, can't lose you can all American players. It just don't means nothing. It means like you don't have to place that. Like you're not gonna feel it. That doesn't make sense. So I think the defense is going to take a little bit of step back, even though the offense could step forward a little bit. I don't think the offense steps forward that much where it makes that difference up as far as them being able to get over the hump of Jackson and Fam, right? You know what I'm saying? They might get over one of the humps. I don't think they I don't think they get over both humps, right? But Eddie Robinson, man, I think he's doing a great job. Obviously, the program is trending upward. Obviously, they have great facilities, and now having a guy who has NFL experience as your head coach who can bring guys in and say, "Hey, I've been here. I can show you how to get there." Right? Being able to develop guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So he's another one that, just like with said Thomas, that say, "Hey, listen, can you get the right OC? If you can get the right OC to go along with you, then I think you'll be good, right?" And so yeah, man, Eddie Robinson. Yeah, I'm interested to see that defense. I don't think the defense is going to be as status. You got to realize, Bam and Alabama State had yes defense last year. Talk about top 10, top 5 as defenses as a whole. So again, any step back from there is that's going to have a major impact on how the standings end up falling. And I both of the teams take a step back because you just can't lose that many dynamic players, right? And don't have any effect on you, right? And then last but not least, right, Bubba McDowell in the number one spot. And I know many of y'all gonna say he versus everybody, so that's why he got number one because I mean I think out of all the coaches and what they've done, he is the one that have the number one spot. Most of the coaches that do in the first place, they haven't even done anything yet for us to judge them on, right? Again, talk about programs. Reviews a program that's also upward, right? A program that is stable. There's a lot of programs that going through turmoil. Again, we see Colzie being able to hold on to the reins, right? And now to stabilize that program at the beginning, it looks like it was going to go haywire, right? But he's been able to kind of bring that shit to a halt, right? But again, you talk about here with Bubba McDowell, right? A person who players love to play for, right? Talking about a guy that people, when he speaks, I'm a guy with character, with integrity that people say, "Hey, man, I'm really gonna run through a brick wall for him." He's not somebody that's gonna be super outspoken. The guy, when he speaks, it is meaningful, right? So 12-11 overall record, 11-5 in SWAC, right? Again, we talk about records, SWAC records. He has the best SWAC win percentage out of all the coaches, right? Out of all the coaches over the last 2 years that he's been head coach in the conference. He's won 1 SWAC West title, got to the SWAC championship game the other year, ended up losing it the last game of the season, his first year. So being able to learn and get over the hump to win the last game this past year, again, just like A. Robinson, you see that trending upward. You see an upward trend. And so he said, okay, what's the next step that we need to take? Just like Eddie Rob is looking at the next step to win the East, get in the SWAC championship game. Now, Coach Bud was looking to say, hey, I want to get in the SWAC championship game and win it. That's the next step that I want to take as far as my program is concerned. Again, he's a guy that's similar to Terrence Graves, right? He's been a part of the Prairie program for a long time, right? He coached, he was an assistant head coach for and so, like, that's why I say when I look at Terrence Graves, I kind of see in a similar to where he's a guy who's been around programs for so long, learned, working how you keep the program together, how you really build a program that can last a long time, right? So that's why I'm like, man, I think Terrence Graves has the ability, and I think Bubba McDowell has through this past year shown that, hey, these are the lessons I learned, the knowledge that I've acquired, me to be in a place where it's stabilized, and now we can move forward and go to the next level. And I think he also is someone who has found an OC to come along with him. The question is now for him is can you get your defense to go along with OC? So just like how Ed Thomas, you look at Eddie Robinson that's looking for an OC to go with their DC. Right now for Coach Bubba, he's saying, man, listen, you are looking for a DC, looking for Coach Rock, right, to step up and get the defense to a place in position where it can match the OC Anthony Weeden who's coming in, right? We're gonna bring some chaos right to the SWAC. So again, though, overall SWAC rankings, right, 1 through 12. This is it. So again, for those who understand, it's a little bit about the thought process behind everything. This is what it is, right? And so again, hey, listen, if you think that something's off, hey, in a couple of months, everybody gets to prove everybody else wrong because now you're on the field again. And so if Eddie Robinson doesn't win the East, if he doesn't finish second, if TC Taylor wins the SWAC championship, if he loses to Bethune-Cookman or loses to Alabama State, I mean, that can affect everything in these rankings, right? If Connell Maynor can actually beat anybody in the East that's above him, if he gets by Bethune, if he can make a dent right throughout the year, that's gonna change things, right? Cedric Thomas, if he wins the West, if he wins the SWAC championship, obviously that changes things. So this is a right now SWAC head coach ranking, right? But it doesn't mean it's gonna change. Rankings change week to week. Last time I checked, rankings can even change week to week. So rankings can definitely change at the end of the 2024 season. But right now, as the season's about to begin, this is what it is. So again, man, appreciate all y'all for jumping on, man. If you have not, right, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and share the video, right? And we're looking to run it up. Goal is to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the summer. So again, man, if you have not subscribed to the channel as of yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Listen, don't be don't be stingy. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like that. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Because listen, the goal is to get to 500 subs. Like I said, by the end of the summer, we got something real big. The summer when it drops. See, so you talking 95 points. That's crazy. That's a lot of points. Anyway, so listen, make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 400 subscribers, so only less than 100 away uh, from from that number. And listen, if you have not seen yet, if you have not seen a video on the best FCS stadium in the nation, this is the best FCS in the nation. If you have not seen the video, and go over to our YouTube page, go ahead and click on that video. Go ahead and give it a view because listen, Prairie View Man has the best FCS facilities in the nation. This hands down. This is not better than Montana, better than Montana State, better than South Dakota State, Eastern Washington, Southern Illinois, all that. Listen, Prairie View has the best FCS facilities in the nation. So I dropped that link to that video there, right? So again, if you are so inclined, make sure you head on over, right? You know what I'm saying, and check that video out. Also, listen, y'all know what it is, man. We getting down in section 107 this year. So for all y'all who have not yet got y'all season tickets, make sure you go ahead and get your season tickets because, man, this year we got a fire schedule, man. And actually it's less than 15 seats available now, you know what I'm saying, in section 107. So the season tickets are going, man. And by the time the summer really hit and people realize like the season's coming, the tickets gonna be gone. So if you're trying to get in section 107, make sure you go ahead and go and drop them ducats. Get them season tickets, man, because it's really, really about to go down soon in terms of these games that's coming up. And then last but not least, man, I want to let y'all know and remind y'all, listen, this is the year of the Panther. All right. This is the year of PV. And so I have to remind y'all, just in case you guys forgot, that, you know, it's about us this year. And so why not PV? Make sure y'all go ahead, you know what I'm saying, drop a comment on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Why not PV? If y'all don't know, man, we got these shirts getting produced right now as we speak, right? Had individuals who put up that pre-orders, get them things. So actually got them in production, right? So they will be dropping soon, right? It's gonna be shipping out to all y'all who are able to get those shirts. Because listen, we called our shot early. We didn't wait till late. We called our shot early, so everybody knew it was coming. So you can't say you didn't know it was coming. All right. So 2024 SWAC champs, right? December 7th, 2024 SWAC championship game is gonna be in Prairie View, Texas, right? So again, man, like we say, why not PV? You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to my boy, you know what I'm saying? My boy numero uno, you know what I'm saying? Lamagier, over from Campbell, who just committed to us, man. Big 6'2", 200+ pound running back coming over from Campbell. Also, my man James Burns coming over from Austin P at wide receiver. Shouts out to both of you guys, man, for recognizing, man. Listen, we building something great over here at PV Nation, and they want to get down with the nation. And so we also gonna get down with y'all too, man. So until next time, man. Hey, listen, next week, be on the lookout. Next week, we got our SWAC quarterback rankings dropping. All right. So if y'all was mad today, I know y'all gonna be mad next week because the SWAC quarterback rankings is dropping next week. All right. So be on the lookout for that. Be ready for that. You know what I'm saying? This is the official rankings. Okay. This is official rankings. So don't be mad at me. Be mad at SWAC if you don't like the rankings. All right. But until next time, man, I'm a holla.